Hey townies, I'm Philip, and this is the Mountain City Show. Today is nuclear war. Are we already in it? Are we close to it? World War III? Is it here? Or is it just fiction of a doomsday prepper's fantasy? Stick around, hit like and subscribe, and let's dive in. All right, townies, let's get into it. I'm going to talk about what's happening in the world. Currently, Russia now says it is engaged in a real war with the West over Ukraine, which we all knew this. We're supplying them weapons, billions of dollars worth of weapons. Not only are we doing it, but Germany, France, England. So we are all sending this country weapons to deal with Russia. So Russia finally acknowledges that, yes, we know that we are actually at war with you all, even because you keep supplying them all weapons, and that Russia is going to change their game plan based on that. They're also going to change their game plan based on Ukraine getting tanks, which I find is kind of scary. First off, another one is the Doomsday Clock. Those of you who are not familiar with the Doomsday Clock, it is kind of interesting. The atomic scientists are the ones who set the clock, and we are 90 seconds to midnight. So they just moved it 10 more seconds forward, and this is the closest we've been, I want to say, forever. That's how close. So it's kind of troubling if you ask me. Putin's pivot in Ukraine will bring about permanent war in Europe, meaning that he is pivoting because he knows he's not just fighting the Ukrainians, he's fighting all of NATO. So he is going to make sure he pivots, and his military strategy is such that it will affect not only Ukraine, but all of NATO, which includes the United States, which I find a little bit disturbing. This is too, actually. There's a Russian warship currently right now off the coast of Washington, D.C., and it's packing missiles, hypersonic missiles that are nuclear capable. He's probably about 800 miles off the D.C. coast. And then after they float around the Atlantic for a while, they are going to go have wonderful military drills with China and South Africa. So there's three countries that absolutely do not like us because they're all, I mean, you can almost kind of see where the alliances are going to be. You know, China, South Africa, Russia, Iran, Brazil. It's just, it is slowly but surely churning up, hey, here's our major players on the other side. We all know who's in NATO. What we don't know is who's with the Russians. And every day it gets more obvious is who's with them. So, I mean, it's getting to be a little bit scary if you ask me. I've never seen it like this in my lifetime. It looks like Germany, Poland, they're going to send Ukraine. They're ready to send them 139 Leopard tanks to the Ukrainian army. Needless to say, Putin is not happy about that at all, which is why he's completely changing his military strategy for Ukraine and for all the NATO countries in the West. Putin Ally, one of his really good friends, I believe, says new weapons for Kiev will lead to a global catastrophe. Yeah, I mean, it's getting there. We're all fighting. You know, the only difference is we don't have troops there. None of our troops are fighting. You know, and hope to God they don't. But, I mean, it's not looking like it's going to stay that way. It's looking like it's going to wind up being multiple countries against multiple countries, especially if we keep going down this road. And, you know, at some point, let's just hope somebody at least keeps our country out of it. Putin Ally warns NATO of nuclear war if Russia is defeated in Ukraine. So he's basically stating, if you keep giving these guys weapons, I'm going to drop a nuclear warhead. And then you don't know where. Is he going to put it on the United States? Is he going to put it on England, Germany, Poland, in the Ukraine itself, even though he wants to occupy it? And again, they have nuclear capabilities where, you always seem like the fallout's going to be so horrendous, it's worse than the actual bomb. Well, their newer weapons, the fallout is very, very, very little. It's like right where it goes off, and that's it. So it's not like the older ones, because all of theirs are new. They put all new technology into their nuclear warheads. I don't know about you, but it makes me a little nervous. I've never, I do look for, we have had, we call it substations for the power companies hit with rifles multiple times now so far over the past 2 months. I'm sure, and here's the thing too. So when the airplanes went down, their system that works on board where they can communicate back and forth with the planes, do you honestly think that they would actually, they say it's not terrorism. Okay, it's not terrorism. It was a computer glitch. Even if it was terrorism, said maybe it was terrorism. That's better than saying it's not terrorism, because now we know it's a country, and what's worse, just having a couple hundred people, try to do something, or an entire country with nuclear capabilities that are coming after you. I like to think that it's not going to get to that point, but it's not looking good. When you pull up the news, it is the worst I've ever seen in my lifetime. That's why I talk about it. Like, I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. I'm in my 40s. I've never seen us talk about nuclear war. Ever. Like, it could actually happen. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going down that road. And every day, slowly but surely, it just keeps getting worse, and it keeps compounding and compounding and compounding. Hopefully we can stay out of it. On top of Russia and South Africa and China doing military exercises for their Navy all together, we're going to start doing military exercises with Israel. So, at some point, you're just like, leave it alone. It's probably not a good idea right now. Probably not a good idea. And even though the Russians and Putin has that ship off the coast of the United States, off the East Coast, don't think for a minute that we don't know where it is at all times, and we probably have a couple nuclear submarines floating around. Of course, then you really got to worry about the Russians' nuclear subs, because they have them, the Chinese have them. So, we all just kind of play like this chess game of war with people's lives, and it's kind of horrible. Like, let's go back to where, everything was about the economy. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get the truth out of the Biden administration on how bad the situation actually is with Putin. I don't see that happening. He doesn't, I think he thinks it may make him look bad. But, honestly, we just kind of really want all the truth. That would be great. So that's pretty much an update on what's happening. I would say this, hey, anything can happen. And it's not looking good. So, if I was you, I'd plan a way that you could go do something, and here's the thing. I'm not saying that anybody would ever drop a nuclear warhead in one of our cities, or, dirty warhead, whatever you want to call them, dirty bomb. But I would say it'd be a smart idea that if you don't have electric for a long period of time, that you plan for that, because that is definitely a possibility between either something happened to the power grid, whether it be terrorist or a cyber attack or some type of physical attack on one of our power grids, or their computers ourselves, cell phones, whatever. So be prepared, at least think of it. What are you going to do if you lose power for a month? What are you going to do if you don't have food? So I would tell you to definitely stock up on food, and then if you live in a city, have a way to get out, because you sure now do not want to be in a city if you don't have power. And if you are there, you better have some guns, because you're going to need them, at least to get the hell out. So, I'm thankful for where I live right now, which is out in a small town up in the mountains where people would love to be if they lost power in a city. But I would tell you that you should probably do that, at least for yourself and your family, and kind of plan a way out of there. I think that's a smart thing to do. So anything else happens, I'm sure I'll bring it to you. Thanks for watching the Mountain City Show. If you could, hit that like and subscribe button. My name's Philip, and join us again up here on the mountain.